Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this rainy Tuesday in downtown Cleveland, June 13th, 2023. Roll call, please.
Just as a reminder to all who are in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Ms. Conwell. Ms. Conwell is absent at the moment. Mr. Tuma.
Here.
Mr. Kelly. Mr. Kelly is absent. Ms. Simon. Ms. Simon is absent at the moment. There is not a quorum. Also like the record to reflect that Councilman Miller is in attendance.
Welcome, Mr. Miller. We're going to do our discussion items first until we get a quorum. Ms. Simon's on her way, and Ms. Conwell's is coming, and the council president has just arrived. So we'll do discussion items first. Janine, a emergency medical transport from the jail. Sheriff? I saw the sheriff. Hmm? I thought Joe told. Sorry about that. We're waiting on a quorum, so we thought we'd take the discussion items first.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. Sorry, I was stepped outside.
And again, actually, you can morph these into one. It's the food service contract, what we're doing going forward, and where we're at with the medical transport and how that's going.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you. So right now with we'll start with the food contract. We're currently, we're in discussion with Trinity. We understand, we're talking to them about everything from calorie count to meals, how it's going to be served out, the new process that it's going to be served out with, quality control measures. These are good things that are also that are going to be moved on, as well as the oncoming sheriff is going to be dealing with these items as well. So as oncoming Sheriff Patel gets confirmed and starts this, he's going to be part of this as well. So we're in communication and we're working on the issue to basically make sure it's all clear and everybody understands how the process works, and we can give you more updates as we progress.
I can't recall. Do we still have trustees working in the kitchen?
So we do have some inmates from time to time. They're fewer and far between. I can have our jail administrator. She could probably talk better to that.
Good afternoon, Rhonda Gibson, Administrator of Corrections. To answer your question, Councilman Gallagher, we do have inmates working in the kitchen throughout the day. Sometimes that is impacted if one particular inmate becomes COVID positive. Sometimes that infects the whole group, which significantly impacts the kitchen operations because the inmates do provide a lot of the manual labor.
Is that on?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not speaking loud enough then. To repeat, we do utilize inmate workers in the kitchen throughout the day for all 3 meals. Sometimes it's impacted because we don't have the classification of inmates that we need in order to work an inmate worker position, or they've been impacted by one of them or a few of them becoming COVID positive, and we have to pull them from an inmate worker status. Anytime we have fewer inmates than what we would like to have, it impacts the kitchen operations as a whole because they provide a lot of the manual labor for the food prep and serving and cleaning of the plates, trays, pots, pans, etc.
Thank you.
And the jail administrator was talking about proper classification, more in simpler terms. Our jail is full of unclassified high felons. So there's only certain people that fit the category that can assist and are be able to trust to help in those situations. So since the population of our jail is high felonies, those are less people that can assist with these type of things.
Right. Not the old days. Anybody else have any? Mr. Miller.
Then you said something about transport too. What I could do is I can give you just a brief if what you're looking for on our transport numbers. So starting from January of this year to July, our transport numbers as of follows. ERs that are going out by ambulance, in January we had 92, February we had 71, March we had 79, May we had 71, June we had 70, in June we had 74, and we're starting into the, I'm sorry, that was, let me go back that one, so my columns are off here. January is 92, February is 71, March is 79, April is 71, May is 74, and we're to 23 in June so far. ERs by car, where they're taken by the deputy in the car, it's 14 in January, 22 in February, 20 in March, 11 in April, 11 in May, and 15 so far this month. Our total ERs, the month of January was 106, February was 93, March was 99, April was 82, May was 85, and so far in June is 38. Out of those, details that come from those, we had 15 details in January, 19 in February, 17 in March, 17 in April, 9 in May, and 8 in June. And then the days that those details took collectively, where deputies were assigned on those details, were 36 days in January, 79 in February, 81 in March, 51 in April, 28 in May, and 31 in June. And when I say those days that's how many deputies were needed out of those. So February was the larger month. So those are our medical transport data.
Right, not that you could predict that, but it seems pretty static as far as where
Pretty,
we're
yeah,
where we're
it's
at.
pretty, obviously in the winter months, sometimes there's more details because of different, cold flu season and different things that come in, but it's pretty steady.
Mr. Miller?
So, Mr. Chairman, to the sheriff, when does the contract expire with Trinity, and are there options for extension, and if so, how many?
So we are discussing with Trinity. I don't have those, and as I said before, if I have the specific questions coming into this, I'll be happy to have the answers for you, but if I don't, I'll be happy to get those for you. So I don't know exactly when the contract expires and when but I know we're currently working with them to extend it until we can, when the new sheriff comes on, they can determine what we're going to move from there.
So is the idea to extend the contract long enough to allow the new sheriff to come in and set up a process to rebid?
I think it's in twofold. The extension is the purpose so we continue to feed the roughly 1,600 inmates we have in there, because we have to make sure that they're fed and they're taken care of, but also have the new sheriff be part of that decision-making process, yes.
And final question, in the part on the transportation, when you referred to details, can you explain what you meant by details?
So when they're taken over there they're originally triaged in the emergency room. If the emergency room doctor determines that their medical needs are great enough that they have to stay at the hospital, then a detail is formed where then a deputy sheriff has to remain with that inmate 24 hours a day until they're released. Sometimes you'll need 2 deputy sheriffs depending on the inmate, but regularly it's 1 deputy sheriff.
And am I right in most cases, they would not have to stay overnight and a detail would not be required?
Well, if they're released from the emergency room and they're triaged and they can determine that they can come back to the jail, then they're transported back to the jail and they're handled, any other medical needs can be handled within the jail.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further? Well, Sheriff, thanks for the update.
All right.
I think I speak for everybody in council. We appreciate you stepping in and into the very big void that we've had and in anticipation of another sheriff being confirmed here. Your service is greatly appreciated, and we look forward to working with you in the new administration if that's so your choice.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Oh,
through the chair to the sheriff, the emergency medical transports from the county jail, I just want confirmation that these are cases that Metro staff could not deal with in-house.
So what this is, I can't speak for Metro staff, but what happens is all medical transports are dictated and started by the Metro Health staff in the jail. So if they say this person needs to be transported, they're transported.
And the ER numbers, that means that they spent a significant time in the ER.
So when they're transported, everybody's transported except for medical appointments that are already pre-scheduled, like if there's a medical appointment. Every time they go out by ambulance, in that sense, they go to the emergency room, and then they're triaged in the emergency room by the Metro staff, and then they determine whether it's something that they can stabilize and be transported back to the jail, or if they need to be admitted, and that turns into a detail.
Okay, and do you have any could you provide us any numbers from those ERs that actually turns into stays, hospital stays? Are there many or no?
I don't have those numbers with me, but I'm sure we can provide those for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything further? Again, thank you, Sheriff. Appreciate it. And we'll go back to matters referred to committee 2023-0161.
Resolution number 2023-0161, authorizing an amendment to a master contract with various providers for traditional residential treatment services for the period 2/1/2021 through 1/31/2023, to extend the time period to 12/31/2023, to revise the per diem rates effective 2/1/2023, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,100,000.
Good afternoon. My name is Sharon Allen, Juvenile Court, here to present the amendment for traditional residential master contract to the end of the year, which is giving us time to prepare an RFP, which currently is in process. We're asking to suspend the second reading due to the timeliness of this master contract. This will also allow us to pay the vendors for ongoing service received during processing this amendment. Here with me is Mr. Pipkin, Thomas Pipkin, to answer any program questions that you all may have.
And your name again, ma'am? I didn't.
Sharon Allen.
Sharon, welcome. Are there questions for Mr. Pipkin or Ms. Allen? Yes, ma'am.
Just, so this is to extend the time period and also to revise the per diem rates. What are those rates going up to?
The per diem rates?
Yeah.
I don't have that information on me right now, but I can get that for you.
Because, so do you have in generality, do you know if it's a big jump or?
Essentially, across the board, a lot of the different organizations.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, can you talk?
I'm sorry.
State your name, too.
Thomas Pipkin, Cuyahoga County Juvenile Court. Across the board, different organizations have increased their per diems, some more than others, just based off of their identified cost of operations right now. So some went up a lot, some kind of stayed the same. But as stated by Sharon, we can provide you with those specifics. We didn't just bring them today, though.
Okay. And that would be, so this was a master contract, so you revised the per diems for all of the agencies or just some of them?
Not necessarily, just for those agencies that identified they needed an increase in their per diems or some type of
And you'll let us
adjustment.
know which ones?
Sure will.
Thank you.
Further questions? Hearing none. And you need this to move forward. So I'll accept a motion if everything's in order with the committee on Resolution 2023-0161 to the full council under second reading suspension. A motion and a second. All in favor? Against? Thank you.
Thank you.
See you again. Resolution 2023-0162.
Resolution number 2023-0162, authorizing a master revenue generating agreement with various county coroners' offices in the anticipated amount of $6,444,000 for performance of autopsies and other scientific testing services by the Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office.
Doctor, welcome.
Welcome, thank you. This resolution is the master revenue generating agreement for the various counties that we provide autopsy services to. I did want to request if we could suspend the second reading on this as well. The 14 items that are listed there are the 14 counties to whom we provide autopsy services. There is a county that we're kind of still in the process of finishing up with, but we would rather address that as an amendment. That's Trumbull County. This contract will extend for 5 years to each of the counties, and it reflects a 25% increase in our basic autopsy charge to these counties up to $2,000. We did lose one county based on this, Holmes County, but I think that the reality is that with the increases in salaries and other things that we use to do this outside work, that was a justified increase. Just kind of to what we use the coroner lab fund for. This year we'll be purchasing new carts for autopsy performance. We'll do some upgrades to our conference room. We purchased new computers for the office, and we had some security issues that we're going to address, primarily with new fencing around the building. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions for the doctor? Hearing none, I'll accept a motion for resolution 2023-0162 to the full council under second reading suspension.
Second.
Moving a second. Any discussion? All in
Excuse
favor?
me, Mr. Chair, I'm sorry.
Pardon me,
Council
ma'am?
President, did you make the motion?
I made the motion. The council president did.
He's not a member of the committee.
Oh, I'll make the motion then. I'm sorry.
Who second?
And
Too much second.
and Ms. Conwell was the second.
Too
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Let the record reflect Ms. Simons in attendance. Is there anything further? We're adjourned.
Thank you.